Okay, imagine this scenario for a second. An artist just bursts onto the scene, right?
Uh-huh.
Hits over 1 million streams, like almost instantly on Spotify. Gets hundreds of thousands of followers, super engaged.
The dreams start.
Totally. And then they land this massive record deal, $3 million.
Wow.
Now,
Yeah.
here's the kicker. The label just dropped all that cash for a pop star who might not even legally own her own voice or her music.
Oof. Yeah, that's a twist.
Exactly. So today we are doing a deep dive into the sources around Zazene Monet. She's being called the world's first sort of major AI-generated pop star.
Right.
And we really need to figure out what happens when this kind of tech just completely outpaces the copyright laws we have.
It's a fascinating paradox, isn't it? Legally, economically, Hollywood Media put down $3 million for this digital diva. But the whole thing feels like a huge gamble, because what exactly did they buy if the main thing, the music, the recordings themselves, well, if they don't actually have any solid IP protection under U.S. law right now, that's the big question we need to unpack.
Okay, let's do that. Let's start with, who or what is Zazene Monet? How did she come about?
Right. So she wasn't discovered, not in the traditional sense. She was constructed.
Constructed.
The whole persona, the idea, came from Talisha Nikki Jones. She's a lyricist based down in Mississippi.
Ah, so there is a human element here.
Yes, and that's absolutely critical for the whole copyright discussion later. Jones wrote the lyrics.
Oh, okay.
That's the human contribution. The stories, the emotion in the words, supposedly from her own life, that's the human authorship piece.
But everything else, the stuff that makes her a streaming hit.
All machine, the voice singing those lyrics, AI generated,
Wow.
the music, the beats, the production, AI, even the image, the photos, the videos you see online, all AI too.
And do we know which AI? Because there are a few out there now.
We do for the music, yeah. The sources are pretty clear it was made using Suno.
Suno. Okay. Remind folks what that is.
Sure. Suno's one of these text-to-music platforms. You basically type in a description, a prompt.
Like, make me a sad disco track about Tuesdays.
Exactly, or, upbeat 80s synth pop with a big orchestral bit, and the AI spits out a whole song. And that tool, Suno, was key to Monet's sound and her quick rise. But it's also the thing that apparently scared off other record labels.
We'll get to why in a bit. But first, those numbers.
Yeah.
They're pretty staggering for someone who doesn't, exist physically.
They really are. The speed is what made everyone sit up and notice. Our sources say she crossed 1 million Spotify streams super fast.
And the followers.
322,000 on Instagram. And they seem really engaged, like a genuine fan base, even though they know she's AI.
That's wild.
And across all platforms, the total streams are supposedly over 17 million now.
17 million.
Yeah, that kind of fast, organic growth, that's labeled gold dust. AI or not, they see those numbers.
Which loops us back to that $3 million deal from Hollywood Media. They signed her, knowing all this AI stuff, knowing the legal fuzziness.
Yeah, the regulatory vacuum, basically. And what's really interesting is the contrast.
How so?
Well, we hear other big labels looked at her, maybe even made offers, but then they backed off. Specifically because Suno is involved.
Ah, because of the legal clouds around Suno itself.
Precisely. They saw potential lawsuits, big problems down the line. But Hollywood, they obviously crunched the numbers differently.
They saw the 17 million streams and thought, risk worth taking.
Seems like it. They probably figured the audience and the disruption potential outweighed the legal uncertainty.
So it's less like buying music rights and more like buying a lottery ticket with a huge fan base attached.
Kind of, yeah. They're buying access to that audience, the distribution for Jones's lyrics, the human bit.
Right.
And they're making a $3 million debt that either the law changes in their favor, or maybe it just moves too slowly to really hurt them before they make their money back.
They're betting on market momentum versus legal inertia.
You got it. Investing in the hype, the distribution power, hoping the legal system lags behind. And that bet really throws us into the main event. This massive clash between shiny new tech and kind of dusty old copyright law.
Okay, let's dig into that clash.
Yeah.
What does the law actually say right now?
Well, the U.S. Copyright Office has been pretty firm on this, at least so far. Their ruling is basically you need a human author.
No bots allowed.
No bots allowed to hold copyright, no. They've specifically refused to register works where the author listed is just an AI system.
So, thinking about Zazene Monet, her music, the actual sound recordings, were made by Suno, an AI.
Correct.
Which means, under current rules,
Right.
no copyright protection for the music itself.
That's the current interpretation, yeah. Legally speaking, the composition, the sound recording is basically in the public domain right now.
Wait, seriously? Public domain? Like anyone could just take it?
Technically, yes. As things stand, Hollywood would likely have zero legal ground to stop someone from copying that AI-generated track, maybe remixing it, maybe even selling it. They couldn't issue a takedown notice for the music itself based on copyright.
That's mind-blowing. They paid $3 million for content that's essentially a free-for-all.
Well, not entirely free-for-all. Remember the human bit?
Ah, the lyrics. Talisha Jones's lyric.
Exactly. Those are likely protected by copyright because she's a human author. So the only legally solid piece of IP in this multi-million-dollar package is the words.
Wow. That creates this enormous, void. What are they actually controlling for their money?
It's a huge loophole, a massive question mark. Hollywood must be constantly weighing the risk versus the reward. How much potential liability are we taking on just to be able to sell songs based on these protected lyrics attached to this big existing audience?
And the ground beneath them is shaky anyway, because of the tech itself, right? Suno's got its own legal drama.
Oh, absolutely. You can't really talk about AI music, especially Suno, without getting into the massive lawsuit that's, hanging over its head.
This is the big one. The major labels suing Suno.
That's right. Warner, Sony, Universal, the heavyweights, they're all suing Suno right now.
And what's the core of their argument? Is it about the songs Suno makes?
Not directly about the output, no. It's about the input. The accusation is that Suno trained its AI model by feeding it millions of copyrighted songs.
Oh.
Allegedly just ripped off from places like YouTube without getting any permission or paying any licenses.
So they're saying the AI learned to make music by illegally copying existing music.
That's the claim. Foundational copyright infringement in the training data itself. And if the courts agree with the labels,
That could be huge.
it could be catastrophic for Suno and potentially for anyone using its output. It could even mean, theoretically, that Hollywood loses the rights to use those Monet tracks they just paid for.
Wow. The irony here is just palpable.
Isn't it? The very tech creating this buzzworthy million-dollar star is simultaneously fighting for its life against the established music industry.
And yet, controversy sells, I guess. Because Monet and other AI artists are still climbing charts, despite this giant legal storm cloud.
It definitely fuels interest. And meanwhile, the money's actually started coming in from these tracks, which is creating its own kind of chaos.
Chaos how? Where does the money go?
Well, sources suggest Monet's songs have already pulled in something like $50,000 in revenue.
Okay, not bad for a start.
Not bad at all, but it's landing right in the middle of this regulatory void. It's the Wild West for royalties right now.
Meaning,
The streaming platforms, your Spotify's and Apple Music's, they don't really have clear rules yet for this stuff. How do you pay out royalties for music where the copyright is murky or maybe non-existent for the recording itself? Who actually owns that $50K?
the whole system relies on knowing who the human creator is.
Right. Exactly. It's built around tracking human authorship and ownership. You throw in a machine creating potentially uncopyrightable recordings, and the whole payment structure just starts to wobble. It doesn't know what to do.
Okay, so legal mess, royalty chaos.
Yeah.
What about the art itself? The big philosophical question. Is this stuff any good? Is it soulful, or is it just soulless code?
Ah, yes, the artistic debate. And you get strong opinions on both sides here.
Like who?
Well, you've got people like Tim Maland, the producer.
Sure, yeah.
He's been pretty vocal, actually. He's called a lot of current human-made pop music soulless. And he seems to think AI might actually save music, push creativity in new directions.
Interesting. Betting on the bots.
Kind of, yeah. But then you have the, let's call it the reality check.
Which
Which is, okay, the lyrics come from Talisha Jones, from her life, her feelings. That's human.
Right.
But the voice, the actual singing, the tone, the breath, the little imperfections that convey emotion, that's all synthetic.
So is she a vocal beast, like some fans say, or is it more like a really sophisticated digital mannequin, dressed up to sound good?
That's the core of the debate, isn't it? Real human singers have these tiny variations, pitch drifts, breaths. It's what makes a performance feel alive, emotional.
The AI voice might be technically perfect, but maybe flat, emotionally.
Critics argue exactly that. Unless it's specifically programmed to mimic those imperfections, it can sound too perfect, too sterile. But Monet's success suggests maybe a lot of listeners prioritize catchy production over, I guess, authentic vocal depth. Or maybe the AI is just getting that good.
It's funny, though, even with all this advanced tech, you still get glitches, right? I read something about her image.
Ah, yes, the blob fingers alert, classic AI image issue.
Right.
Our sources mentioned seeing that in some of her promo pictures. It's kind of perfect, isn't it? A $3 million digital star, sophisticated AI music, And the tech still struggles with drawing hands properly.
It's a great little reminder that it's still imperfect tech, and maybe highlights why that human element, Jones's lyrics, is still so vital.
Absolutely. Even with fancy AI tools, you still seem to need human oversight, human direction, human content to make something people actually connect with.
So, looking forward, how might this all shake out legally? Are we heading towards different categories of AI music?
It seems like that's where the courts might be heading, based on early signals. They seem to be suggesting that for a human to claim copyright, even using AI tools heavily, that human needs to be the clear mastermind.
The driving force behind it.
Exactly. The AI is just the tool, like a paintbrush or a synthesizer, which leads to this likely split.
Right.
You'll probably have hybrid creations. Think human songwriter uses AI for, say, orchestration ideas or maybe mastering help, but the core song, human ingenuity.
And those would likely get copyright protection. Win awards? Maybe.
Probably yes, because the human contribution is clear and substantial. But then you have the other category.
The fully AI made.
Right, where someone just types in a simple prompt like our Sad Disc or Tuesday example and the AI does basically everything else. Minimal human creative input beyond the initial idea.
And those are the ones currently seen as.
As the public domain freebies, essentially. No copyright protection for the output itself.
So where does Ganni Monet fit? She seems stuck in the middle.
She's teetering right on that edge, isn't she? Protected by the human lyrics, but the music itself is in that gray zone, possibly public domain, possibly tainted by the Suno lawsuit. It's precarious.
And practically speaking, they mentioned a live show. How does that even work? How do you put a digital ghost on tour?
That's another huge question mark. The logistics are mind-bending. Are we talking holograms,
Yeah.
sophisticated screen projections? How do you create that live energy, that connection with an audience when the performer isn't physically there?
Yeah, the tech exists,
Yeah.
but making it compelling and crucially profitable on a tour scale for a purely digital act, that's uncharted territory.
Entirely. Huge hurdles. From the tech itself to just how do fans interact? What's the merch? It's a whole new model.
Okay, so pulling this all together, what does this whole Ganni Monet whirlwind mean for you listening? Maybe you're a music fan, maybe you're an artist thinking about using these tools.
Yeah, what are the big takeaways here?
Well, I think we can see two clear sides of this AI music coin, right?
Go on.
On one side, you've got this incredible democratization. AI tools are lowering the barrier to entry massively.
Like Talisha Jones proving you can create a potential star from Mississippi with maybe just a laptop.
Exactly. Anyone can potentially make something that sounds professional reach an audience. That's powerful.
But the flip side is immediate chaos. These legal gray zones we've been talking about.
Right. It throws everything up in the air. Who owns what? Who gets paid? What's even considered real or authentic anymore?
The whole system struggles. If the AI infringes copyright in its training, who's liable? The user,
Yeah.
the AI company. And for artists, the big one. Who collects the royalties down the line? Can you build a career on this?
Which brings it back to the listener, maybe the most important perspective.
Yeah.
The big question for you is, if a song connects with you, if it moves you, if it's just a great track, does it ultimately matter if the artist is a person or an algorithm?
And Xania Monet's success, those 17 million streams, they suggest that for a lot of people, maybe the answer is no, or at least not yet. The song's utility might trump its origin story.
So that $3 million deal for Xania Monet, it's more than just a weird news story. It feels like a real flashpoint.
Definitely. It's where the future, or at least the present of technology, just slammed right into the legal past. And the industry was, frankly, completely unprepared.
The bottom line seems pretty clear then.
Which is?
Copyright law desperately needs an update, a big one. It needs to actually grapple with how humans and AI create things together, define those lines.
Urgently. Because until that happens, we're stuck in this weird limbo. We might be cheering for a star like Xania Monet, not just for her music, but because she represents this giant legal loophole, this fascinating economic experiment.
Yeah, the strange new world. So maybe something to think about next time you hit play on Spotify or wherever you get your music. Is that new artist you love a human genius? Or maybe just a really, really clever algorithm with a killer beat, blob fingers and all.